Welcome to Landco. Today we're going to talk about investment objectives. It's an interesting topic. Owning real estate is a very exciting business, but it's important to know where we're going before we delve into ownership of anything. If it's strictly a return or more of an asset preservation play, every investment profile is a little bit different. So the main groupings are really asset preservation, cash flow, capital appreciation, inflation hedge. There are many other, and there are no reasons that all of those things or portions of those things can't be included in each, but it's important to understand what our objectives are. Typically, there are different ownership groups that seek common things. For example, pension funds look for predictable cash flows, and they tend to diversify very broadly, but only in core assets that have tenants with very strong balance sheets, so they don't have to bear the risk of doing all kinds of rearrangements when tenants cease making lease payments. Low risk for that category. Other kinds of capital sources like real estate opportunity funds are much more concerned with the high yields and returns, so they are willing to give up on some of those things in favor of the higher returns. So they might be involved in repositioning plays, debt buyouts, other things that can be perceived as being a lot more risky and a lot less predictable, but a lot more profitable. And then we get down into individual investors, which we've all heard talked about before. Depending on particular stations in life, individual investors might be looking for tax relief or even asset protection, moving certain monies out of what they perceive to be vulnerable categories and into something that may be a little more stable, like a well-positioned piece of property in a known neighborhood that appears to be stable, or an inflation hedge of sorts. So all of these are to be considered. And in my view, when people talk about a great investment, it is really more often measured on how well the investment actually matches up with the goal being sought. So as I've said before, if we really don't know what we're seeking and all we want to be are investors in real estate, then almost any kind of real estate will do. But truly great investments are essentially good matches between what the goals are and what the investment turns out to be. Extremely important to understand. Objective in going into a deal is worth sticking with through the final quarter. In other words, if for some reason something doesn't particularly work out the way that it's perceived that it should, or originally conceived that it should, stick with the program, let it play out, and if for some good fortune reason something happens that's unpredicted and positive, don't be afraid to take a profit. Thanks for coming to Landco.